Peterson, you are crew chiefing Ben Bostrom this year, and with Pat Clark Motorsports. Now, where are you from, and how do you come to arrive at this point in time?
Yeah, I'm from South Africa. Well, actually from Zimbabwe, but I raced in the States late 80s, early 90s for Kenny Roberts, and then ran Kenny's deal in Spain for him, and at his school, and then in Malaysia and Southeast Asia, and then in South Africa I had my own team and raced there as well, you know. So, yeah, I'm not a typical crew chief. I don't have a mechanical background, just more of a sort of, as a rider, I've had crew chiefs work for me. And then as a team owner, I've had crew chiefs working below me, you know. So it's something new for me and finding my way. Fortunately, the team is really experienced. You know, we've got Tony Romo on the other side, Ron Hebben, who sort of heads up the whole program. He's been around a long, long time. The guys who are working on my crew are the same. They've been with Yamaha for a long time, you know. So we've got tons of experience.
So tell us, who are the crew guys? What do we got going here?
On my side, I've got Chris Roman and Ray Johnson on the chassis. We've got Sander Donkers, who does all the data, and Eric Haslich on suspension. So that's on my side. Then obviously Tony's got his crew. Yeah, we've obviously a new team, bit of a mix. Some guys from the old Honda team and traditional Yamaha guys. And honestly, the team has really gelled well. You know, it's as I say, a new team. We got a late start, and he's really got going in January of this year. We've made a few mistakes this year, no question. You know, Daytona was horrible the first race, you know, with the clutch issue. Fontana, definitely I made some decisions there which weren't so bright. But for the most part, Ben seems really happy with the direction we've gone in. And as I said, the team seems to be gelling very well.
Yeah, because he's had a couple of podium finishes.
He wants to win badly, you know, for sure. I mean, you know, he was not happy with second at Sears. I was over the moon, honestly. I'm going, hey, you know, we've got to give Josh some credit. The guy's riding good. Ben was happy with the bike, you know. He's just going, he thought he might have been able to ride a little bit better. As I said, Ben, the last sort of three race meetings has been, I think, an example of how a guy should go about his business. You know, he's been awesome in terms of attitude, approach out there on the racetrack. He's been absolutely first class.
He's a veteran rider who's ridden all over the world. I would think that he has some definite ideas about what he likes in the bike.
For sure, and you know, from our point, to make it even worse, and to a certain degree, he's really smart. So you can't fool him. You know, it's some guys you can actually fool a little bit. Ben, make sure you tell him what he wants to know, because he's going to find you out. You know, so yeah, he's really smart. And you know, sometimes it's kind of. Sometimes the guys who don't think about it as much as he does, in the long run, it might help him a little bit more. You know, he really analyzes stuff. So when he hits it right, it's going to be right, for sure. He thinks about his riding an awful lot. I know how much effort he puts in, you know, sort of Monday to Friday on motard and motocross bikes and all that. For sure, for me, it was a bit intimidating in the beginning. You know, coming to work for Ben Bostrom, I'm going, you know, I watched him win at Kyle Army and, you know, on the world stage. So yeah, it was a little bit intimidating in the beginning, but you know, he made me feel at home straight away. And like I say, he's really happy with the way the team's going. And as I said, a pleasure to work with at the moment. So yeah, for sure.
All right, last question about the bikes. You've come from Infineon, which is extremely up and down, shooting, point and shoot, and that kind of stuff. And now you've got endless straightaways. Are there any major changes you make to the bike to cope with this?
Yeah, no question. And we are struggling a little bit to find that at the moment. Yesterday, we struggled with some issues. Infineon, you know, the guys had a really good base from last year already. So that was easy for us. Even here last year, he wasn't really that happy with the bikes. So it wasn't like we came here with an ideal base to start off with. We've had some issues. Going to try some stuff in qualifying too that hope, you know, we get up there a little bit. But yeah.
Can you tell us anything of like what it is like?
Chatter. Yeah, some bad front end chatter.
Yeah, I couldn't even see out there. Like, between the front chatter and the corners, the rear chatter, all the way around the track, and the tire was out of alignment. Yeah. I just went eyeballs just like that.
Anybody will tell you, you know, when it's the worst thing to try and solve. You know, the other stuff, quite often you can kind of figure it out. Chatter, for whatever reason, a lot of it sometimes depends on even a guy's riding style, you know. So it's a horrible thing. Yeah, ask Max BRG. Tell you all about front end chatter. Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for chatting.
No, good one, thanks.
Bob Reichman, you are with Chris Clark on Chris Clark's bike. Tell us what you do and why.
I work on the chassis, and I service chassis and do tires and kind of anything they need me to do.
So when it's chassis, that's everything but the motor and the transmission, so you're making sure that the handlebars work right and the forks are where they're supposed to be, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, just the crew chief will call out settings, and we will change the shock and fork settings for them. Mainly not doing internal stuff, but just different heights and just actually taking stuff out and giving it to the suspension guy, and then they'll do the settings for us.
There's a big thing when we do live shows and people have questions about swing arm angle. It's a big deal. That's part of chassis stuff, right?
Yeah, we don't really do much of stuff on that. Our suspension guy does, pretty much all the figuring on that. He's got a program that he uses for setting that. Most of our stuff that we do is just, what they call up, where there's, a couple other guys, there we got the suspension guy, we got a crew chief, and they make all those decisions.
And then you execute what it is they're asking for.
Yes.
He says add 2 clicks of rebound, you do it.
Yes.
Do you always turn all the way in and count back out, or do you just go in there and go 2 clicks?
We could just do 2 clicks, yes.
Do you always match them each side to the fork, or do you have different things in each leg?
Different things in each leg. One leg is actually for different things. They can do, a different setting in a leg. Right. 1 click on a leg or something like that.
Is it important to keep track of which leg has got what in it? I mean, you don't want to put the left fork in the right side when it should go on the left side?
Yeah, it's pretty hard to actually mistake them as one side or the other. Yeah, they're only going one side as far as the way the brakes are attached to the bike. So there's no problem in doing that.
So even I couldn't screw that up?
I wouldn't think so. You could put it, let's say you could put it up in there and you'd know when you put the front wheel in there.
She no fit?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Do you have, I've seen sometimes a gauge for measuring things, like when you put a new shock in, there's a gauge that mounts on sometime to check the swing arm angle and all that. Do you have lots of jigs for things?
Yes, that tool is for ride height, and we would check the ride height with that tool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
SportBikeWrench.com is the exclusive sponsor of OnTheThrottle.tv. Visit SportBikeWrench.com to find the parts you see used by the pros in OTT videos.